What is happening, YouTube? I got another video for you today. Today I want to talk about pain. Pain has been something that throughout my life, I feel like and maybe for many people, you try to kind of avoid because, pain hurts. And kind of pain is linked with fear as well. Anything that is fearful, we kind of shy away from. And what I've noticed in this about 2.5 years of being sober, that pain is something that in a kind of a weird way I gravitate towards now. And not just pain for the sake of pain, but like, let's say through workouts or getting tattooed, or insanely difficult hikes, at a base level, there's a lot of kind of like pain and discomfort that can come with those. And I recently gearing up for this powerlifting meet I'm doing September 16th in Sacramento. The weight is getting heavier, and I had to do what's called an AMRAP, as many reps as possible, and squats with 425 being the weight. And I got 8 reps, and it was extremely painful. And painful more retroactively because you're pushing yourself to your absolute limit. It's as many reps as possible, and I think when you push your body, you are not only pushing your body, but you're also pushing your mind, and you kind of end up seeing really what you're made of. And as you push that threshold out further and further, it encompasses more things that you know that you are capable of doing. And I think the same goes for fear. Things that you're afraid of, and might seem like, oh God, like you come up with a laundry list of ideas of why you don't want to do that, and kind of justify your reasons for not doing it. But if you allow yourself to have that fear and push through it and do it anyway, or endure that pain and do it anyway, you come out on the other side and you have a better understanding of who you are and what you can take. And it also, once the pain subsides or the discomfort subsides or the fear is gone after the act, you realize, looking back, that it wasn't quite what you thought it was. The idea that we manifested in our mind about whatever that event may be was way worse in our minds than it was in actuality. You can kind of think of it as like when you were a kid, if you guys ever went to like a water park and you look at that big slide and you're like, God, that looks fucking horrifying, and that you just imagine flying off or dying or all these horrible things, and you're waiting on the staircase and you're going up, and your heart's racing, and you're watching other people go down, and you're just like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. And then you're the next in line, and you're standing there and you're kind of shaking, and next thing you know, you're kind of just walking up to the slide without thinking, even though your brain is like, what the fuck, oh my God, no. And you sit down and you push off, and then it's just a couple quick seconds of like, whoa my God, and then you get to the bottom and you realize you're okay. And not only are you okay, you're excited and you're exhilarated. And for most people, your very next reaction is, let's go do that again. And I think that it's a really good metaphor for things in life. And as you get sober, a lot of people have been like, well, then what do I do now? And I think that's kind of all part of the process is, well, what have you been avoiding? What have you been afraid to do? Because I think what is more fearful than anything is a life that is just wasted by just sitting around and living in mediocrity and comfort for the entirety of your life. Because then it's like, yeah, maybe you never did anything that was fearful or painful, but you also became stagnant and you're filled with regret. And I feel like that's, if there is any pain to work towards not having in your life, it is the pain and the twinge of regret and wishing that you would have done something. And that kind of like pain that we experience as alcoholics is that low level hum of constant depression and personal failure and letting yourself down and coming up with these like sad little hopes of sobriety or wanting to stop, and then quickly justifying them away when an opportunity arises to drink. And that pain, although it is not acute and vast within that moment, like it's more because it's drawn out and it's cumulative and it adds up, and those little things really do add up as time goes on. And I think that's how you get people to the point where they're willing to just end it. At least that's what it was for me. is that I just got to the point where I was like, all things considered, I can't do this anymore. You know, I can't put up with this anymore. And so in being sober, you know, you might be kind of the person that is looking kind of for like a fix, you know, something to change your state, to alter your perception. And there's few things that are more exhilarating and rush fulfilling than the uncertainty of something you haven't done before. And so if you are looking for a way to broaden your horizon and kind of add more detail and information into who you are as a personal being, then testing those boundaries and pushing them further and further is a phenomenal way to do it. I've said it many times before that I think that you absolutely should incorporate some level of physical fitness, and you don't need to go to the far end of the spectrum of being a bodybuilder, a CrossFitter, or a power lifter or anything like that. But moving around, you know, moving your body around, they are connected. So, you know, they're one and the same, and you need to be moving your body around for your mind to be as healthy as it possibly can as well. With this strength training that I've been doing, working up to this meet, I've never done a powerlifting meet, and yes, I'm pretty strong, but that doesn't mean that I'm going into this without fear, because I am pushing my boundaries. The weights that I'm going to attempt to lift, I've never attempted before, and I'm doing it in front of an audience and in front of a lot of other people. And there's different weight classes, and there's definitely going to be people that are much stronger than me, and I'll be stronger than some people. And so there's a lot of uncertainties about this meet coming up. But rather than saying, well, oh God, it just seems too hectic and it's too scary, and God, I'm just not going to do it. Let's say I did that. I would look back at this opportunity and I would regret it for the rest of my life, you know, and that is the kind of pain that you should shy away from. So pain can really be a positive thing. When I'm getting tattooed, it definitely is painful, but there is this like massive flood of endorphins afterwards, you know, like enduring that high level of acute pain is immediately rewarded once that is done by the absence of it. And by having that kind of relationship with it, it allows you to go, okay, well, I'll endure some pain and then I'll enjoy the absence of it. And this kind of like back and forth. And as you do that, you can kind of make yourself stronger in the sense that because you're enduring that pain, you are a tougher person. You're a stronger person. And it's to endure physical pain is also very much a mental thing, you know, and to endure mental pain can take a physical toll on the body. You know, they, like I said, they are one and the same. So finding something that really pushes you to your limits, you know, and I think that there are a lot of people that know that there's something that they wish they would have done in their life or wish they do, you know, and there is literally nothing stopping you from attempting those things. Even if it's like stand-up comedy. You know, like, God, I always think I would like to have tried that. You should search for some open mic nights, work on a set, do a little bit of research before you go into something. Realize that, you know, they have what's called like a tight 5 or like a tight 10, where it's like you just have these quick sets that are well polished and you can just rattle off. And then when you watch the first comic go and the next comic go, and then it's like, okay, it's my turn. I'm about to go do this. And your heart is just racing. And you're in this kind of like hyper reality. And you almost can't even believe this is happening. And you're like, holy fuck, I'm going to do it. And you go up and maybe you do great. Maybe you don't do great. And you come out of that. And then you can look back on that and be like, holy fuck, like that was nuts, you know. But since you've already done it once, the next time you go to do it, it won't quite be that scary. And it might still be scary, but it's not going to be quite the same as the first time. And that's how when you get these people that do these things that you might perceive as like, oh, that's crazy, I could never do that. You absolutely can. You can do those things. And they started there too. Their first one was fucking horrifying, you know, but that doesn't mean that these things should not be attempted, you know. And sometimes you, like I've said in previous videos, you can take the thinking out of it and just be like, if you sit there and you let your mind rationalize too much, then it'll give you enough reasons to walk away from that stage. And this is life. This is your life. Like, you don't want to walk away from that stage, even if it means going up there and spilling your guts out and having people judge you. You still are above the rest in that sense because you're the one on stage. You're the one holding the mic. And no one can fault you for that. Even if you go up there and you fucking bomb, at least you had the guts to go up there and do it. And no one can fault you for that. And maybe you realize that it's not something you want to do with your life, right? And I'm just using this as an analogy, the stand-up. But that might allow you to know, well, some of the other things I was thinking about doing aren't as crazy as that. It's not necessarily being in front of an audience, you know, and it just kind of gives you this idea, and a truthful idea, that you are capable of doing anything. And all you got to do is really just muster up the courage and do it. And I've said this in other videos, but it is one of my favorite sayings, and I hope that you guys take this and use it because it has helped me massively throughout my life. And it is that bravery is not doing something with the absence of fear. It's being afraid and doing it anyway, right? I am definitely going to be fearful going into this powerlifting meet where I have a bunch of people not only watching me, but judging me on my technique and if I follow the cues and making sure I don't jump any of them and making sure that throughout the lift it is always upward movement and I don't stall or like miss the lift. And I have 3 judges watching and I have to get 2 out of the 3 to agree that the lift was solid and it was legal and that, you know, and so there's a lot of different things going on, but I'm absolutely going to do it. And by doing that, it is that kind of self-fulfilling prophecy that like I am that kind of person that would do that because I have done it, you know. So I think the major point of this video is that pain is not necessarily a bad thing, you know, the right kind of pain. You shouldn't have to suffer through that long drum pain of depression and that, you know, voluntary pain that we put ourselves through by being active alcoholics. That is the pain that you kind of want to avoid. The kind of pain that I would tell you to gravitate towards is the one with a positive reward on the other side of it, something that you benefit from. So just because something is fearful or painful in the acquisition of that goal does not mean it should be avoided. If anything, it means that you should go towards it. I use fear and pain as a barometer of the direction that I should be heading in my life, and it has not steered me wrong yet. I think also that you realize through doing these things that you are a different kind of person than you think you are. I look back at myself, you know, 5 years ago, and if I had met myself, it would have been 2 different people meeting each other. And I love myself who I am now. I really do. And at this point in my life, I know that I still always have so much more to work on. Whereas I used to think that I was pretty solid, I was pretty well-rounded, and I like could kind of relax because I was comfortable with who I was. But in a large way, I was just comfortable being comfortable, you know, and I didn't like the idea of having to do very much work. And that kind of plays into the whole responsibility aspect, like how I have more responsibility now, but I feel the most free now. You know, I feel the most at peace with my life and its structure and the things within it. So if there's something in your life that you're debating whether or not you should do or you should attempt because it seems fearful or you don't know what the outcome could be, I say, fuck it, do it. Jump off the cliff, see where you land, because you will only grow from that. And, you know, be prepared for it not to have the exact outcome that you want, but it will have an outcome. And from that is where you can expand and learn, recalibrate, and hit it again. You know, there's been many things that I've attempted in my life, and it didn't come out quite the way I planned. But you recalculate, you learn from that, and then you hit it again better. And as you continue to do it, then it just becomes something of beauty, you know, as you get better and better and better at it. The trivias that I run is kind of a good example of that. It was kind of clunky in the beginning, and I just was making it up as I go along, and I would always talk to people afterwards and kind of get little tidbits of information from them and see kind of where I was going and what I could change, what I could implement. And now it is by far the most popular trivia in Santa Rosa, and it's a pretty big town, you know, and it's nuts, and I love it, you know, but it's all incremental, you know. And same kind of thing when people see me now, they just see this version of me, and they're like, yeah, it's easy for you to say, like, you have muscle and you've been sober for a long time and blah blah blah, like all these different attributes that I have claimed incrementally and in a very linear fashion they're just like, I can't do that. You can, because it just starts with the fucking seed. You know, yeah, you look at the huge redwood trees, you're like, God, those are incredible. Those started from fucking seeds. Tiny ass little seeds. And that's what you are when you're fresh into your sobriety. You're a little seed. And I think pain and fear and the bravery, which is doing the thing even though you're afraid, and pushing your limits, those are all the water. That's the water, and that's all the nutrients in the soil. Those are the things that help that tree grow and big and strong and tall. And the next thing you know, you're looking at what you've become, and it's amazing. And you know that there's just always room to grow. So I think that's kind of the point of the message I want to get through to you guys today. I hope you're all having a good day. I'm having a great day. I love sharing these videos with you guys. I'm humbled and honored that you guys watch these videos. It makes me very happy, and I feel that we're kind of building this little collective of people that are kind of maybe changing the way that we view sobriety and our relationship with alcohol, and how that can translate into the world as a productive member of society, and for personal growth as well. So thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Please send this with anyone that you feel like it would help. And wish me luck on my powerlifting meet. And I'll get some videos and I'll upload them here from that meet. So I'm excited. All right. And as always, you guys, stay sober.